welcome to this week's BNz World Report. I am your host, Angela Ray, where we will discuss global topics and events from around the world. Our first story comes to us from CNN.com. So you knew it was coming. This is it. The documentary movie about Michael Jackson's final, or at least scheduled final concert tour is setting records. What type of records? Well, according to this, the musician's This Is It tour estimated took in a $2.2 million, and that was just in late night movie sales the first day. We know that the movie run has been extended. Originally, it was supposed to be only in the theaters for 2 weeks, but due to demand from fans, that time has been increased. So if you do not have your ticket yet, you better go ahead and get it. And according to critics, most people have overwhelmingly responded positive to the movie. And the movie will show in a total of 99 countries, of course, including here in the United States. All right, our next story comes to us from Mira.co.uk. And it's official, a health study links mobile phone use to 4 kinds of cancer. Okay, we've heard this debate, this rumor for a long time, but finally a study has been released that shows a link. This has been a major international health study that shows that excessive mobile phone use can be linked to 4 different kinds of cancer. Now, this study spanned 10 years and took about $20 million to complete. Scientists now say that there is significantly increased risk of people using cell phones to have an increased risk of 4 different types of cancers, 3 of which are tumors of the brain and 1 of which is a tumor of the salivary gland. You might not want to say that too quickly. And the group PowerWatch, the campaign group that was in charge of the study, said that mobile companies hide figures on how much radiation the actual mobile phones give off. Modern phones right now are projected to give off about 217 electromagnet pulses every minute into your head. I don't know exactly what that means, but I think that we're going to hear more about this story in the future. Now, Jay, you know, for a long time, cigarette makers and tobacco companies tried to say that cigarette smoking was safe, or, you know, we saw the warning on the side of the cigarettes for years, but do you think that this cell phone study is going to be similar, that right now everybody's just loving it because they're cheap and there's free long distance, but I'm thinking perhaps what's going to happen in the future? Yeah, pretty much. Probably the same situation. And I'm sure we're going to hear more about this. This story is going to be released in the next, or at least the study will be released in the next 8 weeks. All right, our next story comes to us from theguardian.co. 52 children were rescued in the United States in a prostitution ring, and this is according to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Authorities said the youngest victim was only 10 years old, and during this raid, officials arrested approximately 60 pimps during this 3-day enforcement effort that spanned 36 cities. The raids are the latest in a long-running Operation Cross Country aimed at child prostitution rings. So what type of manpower did it take to pull this off? Well, almost 1,600 agents and officers took part in the raids, and they have filed charges against approximately 691 suspects. So we are glad that that story at least is beginning to have a happy ending. All right, our next story comes to us from Reuters.com. House Democrats close in on a health care bill, or at least that's the story right now. If you've been following the health care reform issue in the news, you know that this has been an ongoing battle between Democrats and Republicans, those who want the public option and those who do not. But right now, Democratic leaders in the House of Representatives say that they have nearly finished a sweeping health care government-run option. Now, again, I don't know whether or not this is actually going to pass, but according to Reuters, this is actually a blow to House liberals, including Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, who wanted a version with lower rates similar to that of Medicare, the health care plan for the elderly. Now, what are critics of this public option saying? Well, they're thinking that this might compete with private plans on a state-based exchange where individuals could shop for insurance, which would lead to a government takeover of the sector. Again, I am sure that we are going to continue to hear more about this story in the coming weeks. And finally, from yahoonews.com, Obama signs the first major federal gay rights law. Now, President Barack Obama last week signed the first piece of major legislation for gays, a milestone that was actually compared to the passage of the 1960s civil rights legislation empowering blacks. So exactly what does this legislation say? Well, the new law adds acts of violence against gays, lesbian, transgender, bisexual people to the list of federal hate crimes. Gay rights activists, however, voiced hope that the Obama administration would advance more issues, including legislation to bar workplace discrimination, allow military service, and support same-sex marriages. And that is it for this week's BNz World Report. For more news that you can use 24 hours a day, feel free to visit the website at brandnews.com. And we would love to hear from you. You can always email me at angela@brandnews.com, but you can also post your comments about our stories on both MySpace and facebook.com/myside on BNz. Have a great week. Yes, you know, I just saw a news report where there's a reporter sitting at the desk and there was a bird that kept flying behind him. This was just last week. So I saw it, I was like, you know what, he kept going, so will I.